Happy New Year to you. With this being the final broadcast of the year, um, me and Bella want to wish you a very happy New Year. I want to talk about something. I want to talk about change. So, Webster's New World Dictionary, notable definitions. It defines change as what is behind the desire of every revolution, what people fear most, truths being in and out of favor, the successions of becomings, each of which embodies the objectifications its pre its predecessor its predecessors mm, to shift one's position and be bruised in a new place. In order to grow, change is necessary. A lot of us, we refuse to change. We make excuses not to. We actually we blame other people so that we won't have to change. This year has been a year of a lot of growth for me. But with growth comes pain, disappointments, letdowns, of course, but it's still growth. And it's first realizing that in order for you to be happy, you must be in charge of your happy. I've been married 32 years and I love my wife immensely. Her and I have experienced a lot of the lows and the highs that most relationships go through. Don't even think about it. You stay. You stay right there. Now you're the co-host, and I mean stay. Bella sometimes gets kind of antsy. But one of the things that we have to understand, sometimes change means letting go. We are so committed by the different rituals that this human existence has practiced that sometimes we don't allow room for change, which is really sad. But I want to talk about some of those things that you have to change that are very difficult to change. Now, you know, I'm focused on our youth. So everything usually centers around that. But I want to talk about some of the parents today. I've gotten a lot of calls from a lot of different people, a lot of different emails where they're complaining about this new generation, especially their sons. I hear a lot. I don't have that out of my daughters, but my sons, but not in all cases, some daughters, but more often it's about the young men. Ladies, I'm going to say something to you. A lot of you, you don't start with the foundation of creating a good human being, a good male. When that child is born, I think you lose sight of this is the seed of a man. And because of that, you don't pour into him those things that would make a man. Sometimes mothers are the worst thing a young man could have. That male child can create a divide because it's very difficult for that mom to separate and actually cut that cord. It can tear up your household, but more often than not, it's for your satisfaction and not for that child's benefit. What do I mean by that? Here, I'm gonna give you a good example. A lot of your kids are out here gang banging and doing different things, and you want to blame the system, you want to blame the schools, you want to blame the police, but you first have to look at where that child came from. Now, not in all cases, but those that understand that their child has a problem, they work with the systems a lot of times, and then they can identify if the system is actually a problem. I've experienced that more often than not. But some children, sometimes you got to let go and let God, because that's the only thing that's going to bend their knee so that they'll pray. You're not their God, and you can't save that child. And I guarantee you, if you don't, that seed will grow into the disaster that you've created. So that's the first change that I would suggest to some of you. If you're going to make your child responsible, you first have to be a responsible parent. And I think that that's what's wrong. So many of us, we use excuses, or we allow our emotions and our heart to get in the way of what's right and wrong. I work with a lot of young men, and I discuss this. And what's amazing to me, a lot of times, the more opportunities that child is given, the more material things that child is given, it comes with less discipline. So that child grows into expecting everyone else to be like mama or like daddy. That's not the case. That's why you're experiencing a lot of things that you're experiencing, the disrespect. You you think it's just pitiful for someone to know that your child is jacked up. Hmm. When you own it, you'll do something about it. And that's when change can occur. Another is family. Family. Although you come from the same bloodline, a lot of times we think differently. It's okay to love individuals, but not everybody that come from that same bloodline acts like family. It's usually one or two that's given a little bit more. You can usually tell that in times of disasters, death, and different situations. Sometimes it's just a personality clash. With me, I spent a lot of years always trying to prove something because, again, like I said, I never fit into those different cliques. Finally, I had to realize if I'm going to be happy, I have to first be true. I have acted a plumb fool trying to get individuals to see that I was not the person that they so thought I was. But the reality was, all I had to be is who God made me to be. So finally, I let go. And this is the funny part about it. Some family members actually said, "Oh, he's just jealous of the fact that we're close over here and he does not fit in." I've never felt that closeness to be jealous of. And that's how families think. They always make excuses before they look at themselves. Do I want that unity, that family structure? Of course, who wouldn't? What human flesh wouldn't? But one of the things that I have is a loving wife and the ability to love myself. So I can be alone, whether it's by choice or by circumstance. That's a change that sometimes you need to make to be happy. And guess what? I am finally happy. I have a daughter that's about 47 years old or so. Let me see, 46, I believe. She is more like me than probably any of my kids. And again, she was from my first marriage. I love her. However, because of the relationship that her and my but because of the relationship rather that I had with her mother, and because I wasn't there, there's a lot of resentment there. I know it is. She'll never admit it, but she never fails to try to make me feel a certain way, whether it's through, little bitty posts that she'll make or certain things that she'll jab at me or conversations. And she has never been wrong in the whole time that I have known her. But one thing that she said resonated with me when we had an argument, and where she said, I don't come back to you. You always come back to me. And I looked at her and I thought to myself, "Hmm, that shows how much I love you and how little you care about loving me." So I let her go too. Hasta la vista, baby. Now, doesn't mean I don't love her. It's just mean that we did not grow to an understanding where we could respect each other's individuality. Sometimes you have to do that. Another thing that we do, we want to hide truths from so many people. Sometimes truths is meant to help other people. We cover up things that we think imposes a certain persona, or others will judge us because we are imperfect. None of us are going to be perfect. This is a work in progress, a work in process. Rather, this is hard. Do you think that this is easy? This life does not come with a manual. Although I love my kids, man, I'm telling you, I don't know them people. They're narcissists. A lot of them, they blame everybody but themselves. I can own my wrong. They don't have a clue of even when they are sometimes. Doesn't mean I don't care about them. I created those little monsters through doing the very things that I'm telling you I should not have done, that I've learned from. I overcompensated too, and really didn't give the first one a chance to really get to know the person that I am. So I contributed. But you would think once you get in your 40s, you would know. Sometimes that does not happen. That's the case with my oldest. She does not look at herself. And get this, she's a psychologist, and she can understand everybody's situations but her own. I love her immensely, but she does not include me in her world. So I let go. She wants to prove something, I think. Well, she's proved it. I got it. Don't let your kids take you down certain paths. Love them. Be there for them, because if that girl called me tomorrow or anytime, I would be there for her. Lord knows I would. Any one of them. If it's death, sickness, but not to use me. So think about those things that have weighed you down, whether it's emotionally, whether it's spiritually, and it's time to change and let go. Now it comes with a price. Sometimes holidays are going to come up and you'll feel something in your chest. But just remember what led up to the situation. I went through a depression, like I said, and that's when I came out of that. Could have went either way. I could have wallowed in that pity and that confusion, or I could have grown out of it, which I have. And I realized my happiness is up to me. So change is necessary for my happiness. And change may be necessary for yours as well. It may be a job change. It may be a relationship change. But whatever the change is, enough, enough. So when 2024 come in, take stock, assess what you're doing, assess what some of those things that have caused you grief, pain, and let go. You don't have to keep going back. I choose to let go. I choose not to deal with that. And I love those that are around me, those that are part of this life circle. But I'm not dealing with that pain of them not understanding that it's a give and take. It's not always me giving. And that's in any situation. Sometimes I find the people that you help the most, the people that you love the most are the ones that hurt you the most. I thank God for my wife. That's the one rock that I can surely depend on. That's the one rock that has always been consistent with me. We're going through something now. And what she said last night resonated in me. She grabbed my hands and she said, baby, I'm with you. See, a lot of people are not going to understand us because my personality seems so strong, but that woman I bow down to, not before God, first God, then my wife. A lot of them won't understand it. My kids definitely don't. But sometimes you got to give them space to grow too. So with 2024 coming in, forget about the resolutions. Just look behind you and determine what needs to change in your life. 2024 is going to be great. I claim it. I am a millionaire, a multi-millionaire. If you don't believe me, keep looking. So I wish all of you a happy, happy new year. Bella, you wish them a happy new year too? You do, don't you? You a good girl. Now, Bella, that's my new co-host. Look at Bella. That's another thing that I can count on most of the times when she ain't partying on the floor. You good, Bella? I love the way you're sitting there. I have her full attention. 2024 come into play. I'm wishing all within the sound of my voice and many, many, many more a happy new year. Hey, the last one of this year, but I got something for you for next year. Have a good one. Come on. Say hey, worldwide. I'm good. Say happy new year. Happy new year. 1, 2, 3.